All right, hey there, HD109. This is Will Campbell. I'm your candidate for the Texas House of Representatives. So today we're going to talk about the Cyclospora outbreak and over various things and claims that have been made online a good bit. One of them you can see here, a year ago, Trump's CDC made Cyclospora surveillance optional. It's been tracked for 28 years. Now there's several cases. Right, so this is all about decisions that have been made by the HHS. And tying them to Trump and his administration, RFK Jr., and doing all that. And then there's really serious ones that have given me some concern because they're being spread around here in HD109 Facebook pages and things like that. But this one's serious, right? So the explosive diarrhea causing cyclosporasis outbreak has now spread to 31 states with nearly 7,000. RFK ordered the CDC's Foodborne Disease Active Surveillance Network to stop tracking cyclosporasis, and then says that they're trying to kill us all. Right? So when you get things that are going around online, and I'm seeing a lot of people express concern about it here locally, I've had some folks ask me questions about it. I want to go digging around. I want to go find out what these claims are about. And then when you have a lot of pretty terrible rhetoric out there that's going on, a lot of memes that are going out there trying to put this forward as like they're trying to kill us, that's pretty serious. And I need to make sure I can address this appropriately with all the constituents here and bring the facts of the case to the center, right? So as we go through this one here, just know that this is something that's been pretty significant. It's been going around a lot in Democrat circles trying to criticize the decisions that were made by HHS and the CDC and all these other things. So everybody's looking for something to pin it on somebody. Now, currently, I just updated this a few days ago, or August 3rd. So 10,468 confirmed cases across 47 states. So it's a very serious thing that's starting to go around. However, there's been, I believe, 2 deaths, both in Michigan, there were underlying health conditions. They didn't die because of this particular foodborne parasite. And it's important to understand 2 things here. Number one, FoodNet does not stop things from coming into the country. Flat out does not do it. These are surveillance programs, right? These are things that are put into place to try to monitor whenever certain diseases or things start coming out of the typical norm of events that occur. Now, cyclosporosis, if I'm even saying that right, there's been outbreaks in the past. FoodNet cyclospora status being mandatory in several cases. There's been several of them where there was several 1,000 or so or more in an outbreak, 2019, 2020, 21, 2022. And as our food supplies and everything have been starting to depend more and more on foreign entities bringing and importing that in, that's where we're starting to see a lot of this happen. So even with active surveillance in the past, this stuff has still been able to get in. But in the particular situations where they have gotten in, the nature in which that they found their way in was very different from the current case. So in the current case, this has been distributed to multiple fast food restaurants all over the country. And it's by Taylor Farms was a big aspect of this. So they've taken responsibility. They've got people going and checking all their central Mexico fields and trying to observe for this. But the reality of the case is, even last year, when they didn't make it a mandatory thing to have on FoodNet side of the house, there wasn't anything reported. And then now there's the report that's here in 2026 and what all we've been dealing with this year. Now, the key thing to note here is that this was in the FoodNet program. FoodNet program is a separate surveillance setup, and it was a redundancy in the system that was unnecessary. And so as they evaluated budgets and what they were looking for to try to make things more efficient and streamlined, FoodNet and the different options that it had available to monitor were reduced down to just a couple. Now, the actual system that does the active surveillance reporting and supporting response and what we do in response to these outbreaks is actually called PulseNet. So the thing that was affected by the decisions of the HHS is a thing that is not actively involved in trying to control outbreaks. The entity that is responsible for trying to respond to outbreaks and mitigating problems was not changed. It remained the same. And that monitoring was actively being done, still is being done and still being monitored. That's why we're still having the numbers that are coming back and being reported. It was the nature of how it got from a foreign country, which means nothing we can do about it, Once it crosses into the country as food gets imported in, that's when we can actually make surveillance or have surveillance actively capture, oh, hey, there's incidents of this going on. So this outbreak was not caused by decisions made by HHS, but merely in this case, how that food was being distributed and how quickly it got distributed across the board with that particular parasite being involved. And then that's how that outbreak was able to spread in the way that it did. So once again, a lot of claims being made, they end up not being true. Now, as you review the website, you can see some of the more details about it, but here's the thing that's really important. This is something that I'm trying to write a bill about right now. As I'm learning about all this stuff, I'm discovering where there's gaps. We don't have in our country a proactive means of stopping biohazards like this from entering the country. So what my bill is going to do is basically create a particular department here in the state of Texas that coordinates with at the national level, but will actually be a proactive network of facilities tying in with our universities and our current emergency response systems and all that to actually have a proactive means of deterring the entry of parasites like this into the country through our borders, or at least for Texas, because this will be a Texas law here into the state of Texas, where we're a more proactive member of it. It can help contribute to the research and development and creating responses to this and tie into a lot of other things as well. So I'm hoping to make an announcement about that in the next couple of weeks once I finish drafting the bill. So hey, go to willcampbell4texas.com and you can just keep an eye on that. Pay attention to my Facebook page and my other social media as I make announcements about the different things that I do. You'll be able to see that bill, and hopefully it'll be something I can take to the House and we can get passed. So that way, at least in Texas, we're taking proactive efforts to stop these types of outbreaks from actually coming in. So again, my name is Will Campbell. I'm the candidate for Texas House of Representatives for HD 109, which goes from Cedar Hill to Seagoville, right? And hey, you know what? Jesus loves you, and I approve this message.